once again. Good afternoon, Civitans. Welcome to the September 19th, October 19th meeting of the Asheville Civitan Club. It's time to turn the meeting over to our newly minted President-elect, Liz Huseman.
Thank you. It's a great pleasure to be a part of your group and also to arrange the speakers. And I think it was something I said, he just left. But he's back, yay. I think all of you are aware that this month is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. But it also is Disability Awareness Month, and it gets lost a little bit, which is okay. I mean, we need to put the attention to breast cancer, but I want to make sure that people also are aware that it is Disability Month. We have ribbons that are silver, that we wear, and I brought those with me. So if anybody will wear a silver ribbon in honor of people with disabilities, please see me afterwards. You know, the Irene Wortham Center, which I'm the executive director, I think we have a good reputation in the community, but that's only because I have wonderful staff to provide services. And I have brought Josh with me today, who's going to talk about getting people with disabilities employed in our community. So I'd love to welcome Josh.
Can everybody hear me okay here? How's that? All right. First, I want to thank Liz for that introduction, and I apologize after that introduction for coming in here late, and I apologize for how I'm dressed. I had my days mixed up. I had my suit pressed and ready to go for tomorrow, but I had all my content ready, so bear with me, and I'll try to get through this. Like she said, I'm the Community Services Coordinator with the Irene Wortham Center. We're in the workforce department. What we have is job coaches. Right now, I think we have 9 job coaches that go out with people that have disabilities and help them find jobs and help train them on the jobs. A little bit about myself. After high school, I spent 4 years in the Army. And when I got out of the Army, I spent some time just doing kind of odd jobs and things, working my way through school, and sort of fell into this field. Got my first job in this field was as a job coach in Tennessee. And just fell in love with it, and I haven't left the field since. I just really enjoy the type of work and what we do. So I want to start by giving you guys some basic facts about employment with people with disabilities. Disabilities, or people with disabilities, represent the single largest and most diverse minority in the United States, and it's a major untapped resource in the job market. The stats from ODEP, which is the Office of Disability Employment Policy, state that as of September, the disability rate among people with disabilities, or the unemployment rate among people with disabilities is 14.8%, and that's as compared to 9% for the general population. So that's a pretty big difference if you think about how big these numbers are. A lot of people, when my job coaches take people out to look for jobs, a lot of the first impressions people get, there are 2 types of disabilities as far as the first impressions people get. There are the visible disabilities, people with developmental disabilities like a Down syndrome or somebody with a physical disability that's in a wheelchair, things like that. When the employers look at those people and know, there's a disability there, I see why they have a job coach. But there are also other disabilities that you can't tell just by somebody walking in to apply for a job. They have a job coach, and these are, some people call these invisible illnesses. It's things like depression or bipolar disorder. These are still things that are disabilities, but aren't visible to us when we first meet somebody. So the job coaches we have, are trained in kind of working with the employers and helping them understand what the needs of our clients are. Although we can't talk about specific disabilities, we work to find whatever barriers may be there depending on what the disability is and helping those individuals overcome those barriers. Like I said, the employers legally can't ask about disabilities, but the job coaches, what we do when we go into a job is look at the tasks associated with that job. And we look at our individuals that we're working with and see what barriers may be there. And the job coaches will talk with the employer, explain, these are some of the barriers that may occur, and this is how we're going to help them overcome those barriers. And a lot of the employers that we work with regularly are really good about understanding this and working with our people, but I think it's really just an education thing. The more we educate people, not to just look at people with disabilities as somebody with disabilities, but just to look at them as people. When we're doing interviews, things like that, we really want the employer to interview our people and just keep an open mind and interview them like they would anybody else. There are people we work with that aren't qualified for some jobs, and there are people that obviously are qualified for some jobs, but we just ask for a fair chance with the employers to make that determination, like I said, with an open mind. I'll talk to you a little bit about the services we provide in the workforce department. All of our referrals come from vocational rehabilitation, which is a state agency that refers them to us, and then we actually just started working with Services for the Blind as well, taking referrals from them. And the vocational rehab, like I said, they work with people with disabilities. That's their sole purpose, is to put people to work that have disabilities. So they may refer them to us for an evaluation, in which case we basically go out and volunteer at a few different types of jobs, just things they're interested in to see if they're able to do those types of jobs and how they like those types of jobs. Because our goal is to not just put them to work, but put them in a job that they're going to enjoy and be successful at. So a lot of times they'll refer them to us for an evaluation to see, what types of jobs they can do. And then the next phase is looking for a job. We call it job development. Everybody calls it something different, but just like any of you have looked for jobs in the past, that's what we help our consumers do. We'll help them write resumes. We help them go out and find the places that are hiring, fill out the applications, go on the interviews, all of that stuff. We help them get ready for the interviews, talk about possible interview questions, things like that. Once they get a job, we go on the job with them, and we'll train right with them side by side until they start to pick up the job and kind of understand what they're doing, and then we'll slowly cut our time back with them. So we're there kind of throughout the whole process. And like I said, our goal is not just to get them a job. We really want to emphasize getting them the right job, something that they will be able to do successfully and keep for a long time. Some of the advantages of working with not only our program, but just somebody with disabilities in general, is longevity. A lot of the jobs we apply for are entry-level type jobs. Think of bagging groceries or maybe working in a movie theater, things like that. A lot of those jobs normally are filled by students who are going to go back to school, or they're going to want the summer off, things like that. The people we're working with, usually, if they're looking for that type of job, they're looking for a job to keep. It may not be a career, but they're looking for a job that they're going to keep for a while. So that's one advantage, because it cuts down on companies' training costs and recruiting costs, having them there for the long haul. I'll give you a quick example of that. Washington Mutual did a survey among their call centers in 1999 and reported an 8% attrition rate among people with disabilities in their call centers. Their overall attrition rate was 45%. So you can see, that's, and again, we don't want to generalize and just say all of our people are going to be there for the long haul. Can I ask how many of you have had more than one job in your lives? All right. So, and I'm sure for as many people as raised their hand, there are probably that many different reasons as to why people have left jobs, and the people we work with are no exception to that. But the people that we work with are looking for, like I said, long-term jobs. So that's where it comes to play. We have people that work in jobs, decide it's not for them, and things like that, just like anybody else would. But overall, you know, they get the job, they're appreciated to have the job, and they really want to do a good job, and they do. I can't think of really any place that we work with regularly that our consumers get reports that are anywhere below the normal population, the so-called normal population. Normally, the reviews of our consumers are higher than their counterparts and co-workers because they really put that effort in, and they have that extra support from their job coaches to help them succeed. Another incentive that the government has created for people with disabilities is anybody that works through the Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and gets hired anywhere, that company is eligible for a tax credit up to $2,500 per person that they hire. That's through the Work Opportunity Tax Credit. So that's another thing that, you know, is really good, especially with the economy the way it's been over the last year or so. We've really been able to push that and kind of explain that to the employers, and they've really been keen on hearing that because, you know, the bottom line speaks in the end. So that's just a really quick rundown. Like I said, it's Disability Awareness, specifically Disability Employment Awareness Month this month. WLOS did a couple of profiles on one on an individual that works with us at the Irene Wortham Center that we have worked with and has a disability, and the other one on Iannucci's restaurant on Hendersonville Road, and the owner there hired one of the people we work with as a dishwasher. And you can go online to their Person of the Week, and I would like to invite all of you to go online and check those out because they're really good profile pieces and really show how well these things have worked out. So I just wanted to mention that to everybody. I had originally planned to have one of the guys that we're working with that recently was placed in employment here with me, but as I said, my days mixed up, and I apologize for that, so he is not here. So that was the rest of, I was going to have him speak a little bit. Does anybody have any questions about anything?
Yeah, I got the microphone here. Is that John? Could you say more about the invisible disabilities?
Yes, a lot of mental health things sometimes. I mean, there are so many different types of disabilities, and somebody may have the same type of disability, and it may appear an invisible illness, in one person and not the other. But mental health type things, like I said, like bipolar disorder or depression, severe depression, things like that are disabilities, and they aren't things, like when our job coaches go into employers, it almost makes it harder because, we're here with me, and well, employers think, and they legally aren't allowed to ask, but, their first thought is, well, why does this person need a job coach? Why are they here? So that makes it tough sometimes, but yeah, it's just the difference is just, when you meet somebody, some of the disabilities you can see and tell right off the bat that this person has a disability that they're overcoming, as opposed to somebody that you may not know right off the bat that they have a disability or what the disability is. And, we just have to work with employers to understand that, disabilities are things to be overcome, and that we work with our people to help them overcome those things. So.